Oh, I just can't wait to be queen. Hello, beautiful conscious creators. I hope that you've started your day with nothing short of health, wealth, peace, love, and light. As we explore healing and conscious creation together in this space, I hope that you remember to be kind and patient with yourself and your thoughts. Sorry, I had a bit of a moment of like a glitch because I thought that I should just send a shout out to the people that have been like watching my videos, the people that have been commenting. One of them is Kaylee Kukamur, and the other ones that I haven't mentioned, thank you very much. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that as like, yeah, just a little side thing. Did I finish the intro? As we explore healing and conscious creation together in this space, I hope that you'll remember to be kind and patient with yourself and your thoughts. So today I wanted to get into the idea of, I want to share my 2 cents on letting the negative thoughts in. And yes, based on the things that I speak about on the channel, it is about positive. The idea behind it is about positivity and just choosing to be positive in your life, even through the negative circumstances, in order for you to get to your desired outcome. And it's not to say it's going to be a smooth sailing thing. It's not a smooth sailing journey. No one has that. Not a single person has that, regardless of whether you know about their circumstances or not. No one has it smooth sailing all the time. We all go through turbulent seasons, and we all go through things that, just get us off path in order maybe to learn a lesson along the way and before we can get back on, we need to heal from all of those things. So it's not necessarily smooth sailing. And hence the reason why there are negative thoughts that exist regardless of where we are in life. There are negative thoughts that they come in very intrusively, and sometimes they can get you off the rails. But my 2 cents on it is to say that let the negative thoughts in. And again, this space is about addressing the shadow self and addressing the conscious self. Now, when you let these negative thoughts in, sometimes it can be challenging, or most times, if you're not used to letting them in, it can be challenging, because a deep part of you always wants to protect itself. You're always on guard to protect this identity that you hold so dear to yourself. And it's also part of the ego, which is something that I'll address let me just address it now. Maybe the ego it's part of this protection mechanism because it stands firm in what it identifies as, correct? So sometimes by letting in these negative thoughts, it feels like it's throwing us completely off track. But we end up building the walls. And sometimes we don't get to see that it's okay to let these negative thoughts pass through us, and we can observe them, observe what they want to show us, what they're showing us, without judgment. So sometimes if you find yourself in a space, like I'll use an example for myself. Okay. Sorry, there was doggy stuff happening outside. So it's okay not to judge these thoughts. And oh yes, I was going to use the example of sometimes, like, there are situations that are very frustrating for me, and they lead me into thinking things that are like sometimes petty, or like they aggravate and agitate my spirit. And in those moments, I don't try to do affirmations in order to put or slap a band-aid on this just sore spot, this agitated moment. Because by putting on a band-aid, you're not actually addressing what's happening underneath. You're just slapping on something, and it could be infected, or it could be such a small wound that it doesn't need that much work, or it doesn't need that much attention. It just needs you to put in, like, swab some alcohol and then put on a band-aid. Now, with these negative thoughts, right? Oh, I'm gonna use it as a wound. With these negative thoughts and applying the alcohol and slapping on the band-aid serves as your affirmations, but you actually have to see and look at what the pain is coming from, what it is that it wants you to do in order to get the gunk out. And by observing your thoughts, you're not by observing your thoughts without the judgment, you're just looking at what it is they're trying to say. And you don't have to feel guilty or bad for observing those thoughts as they are, because you're human. You're gonna have those moments where you're frustrated or agitated and you're thinking just the worst things in the world. I'm not saying like dark things, but if you do find yourself in that space, that is okay. It's okay to just listen to what they're saying without the judgment, because the minute you start judging them, the minute you start saying, no, it's making me, they make you feel like you're a bad person, you're not. You're placing too much, you're being too harsh on yourself, because you're experiencing something in that moment that needs you to just sit quietly and just be there with it. And when you realize, the more you actually just observe them as they pass through, the less power they have over you, because now you know that it's not you. It's not how you identify as a person. You're not always this kind of person that is always thinking angry thoughts. Unless you are, then maybe there's some work that needs to happen there, of course, but by observing them, you're not saying you're adopting these thoughts and they become who you are. They're not who you are. They're just thoughts that pass through for you to observe and let go. When you try to block them, you're placing so much energy on trying to restrict these things that they suddenly have too much power over you. But by letting them in and slowly, progressively, slowly but surely say, okay, I can let my guard down in this aspect, and allow them to slowly pass through. And eventually, and it happens over time, right? Eventually, it will click that, it will just click inside of your body that, oh, okay, these thoughts are now just passing through and they don't have power over me, because I'm allowing them in and they're just moving along as quickly as they came in. So the more, when I focus my energy too much on them in order to protect myself, to block them from even entering my space, the more emphasis I created on these thoughts. But by creating too much emphasis and focusing my energy on them in order to protect, so to speak, protect yourself, because that's what the ego does. It wants to protect you. It wants to hold its identity firm. The minute I stop protecting myself from these thoughts and just saying, oh, this is what I'm thinking right now, and it's okay, and I'm not going to judge this thought. I'm not going to place any judgment. I'm just going to see what it's trying to show me. If there is something that you need to learn from it, I'm just going to see what it's saying. And then, okay, now I can think about the next thing and move on. But it takes time and patience with yourself, because the minute we choose patience and kindness with ourselves, this is why I always say, be kind and patient with yourself and your thoughts. Because the minute you understand that you don't always have to identify with what you think, because they're just thoughts. You don't always have to identify them. Then you become more lenient with yourself and you're like, okay, I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I don't have to build walls, because I'm okay. I don't have to judge these thoughts. I don't have to judge these parts of myself that want to, I'm okay. Yeah. Eventually, yeah. When you get to the other side, you'll finally understand. But it takes you practicing the not pushing them out, but just letting them pass through. And just as they go away, you create room for the things that you want to think about. Yeah, thank you for listening all the way to the end. My name is Uke, and I am your accidental therapist.